Once again, Gail Zurek is in here. Let's go to your phone calls, 219-845. Let's go to Uncle Joe. Hey, Uncle Joe, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. I had a question or looking for a comment from Gail. There's a big issue nationally and potentially probably locally also about the veterans for home foreclosures. Those guys are overseas, and there was a practice of initiating loan modification and bankruptcy procedures at the same time, as opposed to just going through the modification first before to make a determination, and then start foreclosure procedures. You know, there's 5,000 troops that were overseas. They got a notice that they lost their house, and they can't even be in the area to help, follow up on all these things. And I was wondering if we had a situation in the local area. I had just talked to Senator Mosley, our state representative.
Yeah, talk up just a little bit, Uncle Joe.
I talked to Senator. It was brought to my attention by Representative Mosley, who's on the Veterans Affairs Committee in the state of Indiana. And when they get back in session January 1, that's one thing they're going to be looking hard at, get answers of this unsavory practice.
All right. Hey, thanks a lot. Let's comment on that. All right. Thanks, Uncle Joe. We have the Veterans Show that's coming up right now. There's a lot of veterans listening. You know, I saw some of that on the media, too, where they were foreclosing on guys who were serving our country, and they really didn't have a lot of recourse.
Okay. My knee-jerk reaction is it makes me sick to my stomach. I don't have a lot of research on it, and I will get research on it, but like I said, my knee-jerk reaction is when an individual is willing to give their life and to serve our country, taking away their home, I would love to know some more about that, and thank you for the phone call, because I'll look into that, and I'm glad the Veteran Show is next. I know that this is something that's near and dear to their heart, and I'll talk with them too and see if there's a way that we can't connect on that.
Let's go to Jonathan on line 1. Hi, Jonathan.
Hey, I'm an attorney in Hammond. I just heard those comments about the servicemen being foreclosed on. They have recourse, and I agree with your caller that it's absolutely improper. But there is a federal statute on the books called the Servicemen's Relief Act that says that a lender has to investigate whether an individual is in the service before they default out on a mortgage foreclosure. And if they improperly take that to a judgment, in other words, they didn't do their research, or they did their research and still decided to take a default judgment against that serviceman, he can then, when he returns, he can sue that lender and recover significant damages for the improper foreclosure that occurred.
What happens in the meantime during the foreclosure? If he has his family in the house, can his family get recourse prior to his return?
Well, what his family needs to do is they need to contact a local attorney. And that attorney will, once the family identifies that there's a serviceman involved, that attorney then can contact the lender and invoke the relief that's available under that act.
Thank you for calling. This is great.
You know what, Jonathan? There's been a lot of coverage on this. I don't know if people are sidestepping that, or if it's just, if a wife's back here with 3 kids and the guy's in the Middle East and they can't make the house payment, I mean, the money to hire an attorney could seem like an insurmountable number.
I get it, and I have people coming into my office all the time that have that shell-shocked look. They just got this paperwork, family members overseas, and they don't know what to do. And I immediately explain this to them, and I say, look, we have options here. Let me do my work for you. Don't worry about the fees. It's all going to work out in the end, and, that way they can get relief. And I'm not trying to get people to call me necessarily, but you can call the Lake County Bar Association. They have an attorney referral service, and there are a lot of attorneys that are signed up to deal with matters like this. And any attorney that encounters a situation like this is going to be able to get relief for that family and do something. You can either invoke the remedies under the Servicemen's Relief Act, or Of course, as your caller said, there's always other remedies. There's a bankruptcy remedy which can help people catch up on their payments and get their situation, normalized. But don't be afraid to call an attorney. Most attorneys, when they explain what's going on, they're going to be very reasonable. Many times they'll give you a free initial consultation. And, we're all patriotic Americans here in Northwest Indiana. Anybody that hears a story like this is going to get upset, and they're going to want to do something about it.
All right, Jonathan, thanks for calling. What are you telling people as they're
bet.
getting ready to take some vacations?
The old standbys of making sure that you talk with a couple of key neighbors, that they're keeping an eye on your house, that they're picking up your mail or newspaper, putting your lights on a timer so that it looks again like someone's in the house, making sure that you're not having any large packages delivered that are sitting on your house. The thing that has changed, and I think that is perhaps a different way to think about this, with social media being as prevalent as it is, Twitter and Facebook, a lot of people are putting on Facebook and Twitter that they are going on vacation, they're excited about leaving, and they're doing a countdown until their vacation. You're now sending out across the internet that you're not going to be home. And there's been lots of stories of people who have been on vacation and sort of tagged themselves at being at a great location, and that lets everybody else in the area know that they're not there. And be careful about doing that, and exposing yourself to telling the world that you're not going to be home.